Every club has now revealed their home kit for the upcoming 24-25 Premier League season. I've created a tier list for them, and one by one we'll go through and place them. And as always, I'm open to your thoughts in the comments. If you want to see more content, make sure you like and subscribe. Let's begin! We start off with Arsenal. Traditionally incredible kit, beautiful designs each and every year. And this year you've got the standard red, but also this white and blue trim round the entire outer side of the kit, which I'm not a massive fan of. I feel like this is one of their weaker kits that they've had in recent years, especially the long sleeve version, which to me looks terrible. So for once, I'm not going to rank Arsenal that high. They're going to go into decent. Next up, Villa. With Aston Villa's kit this year, it's very much the same as normal. And you're going to see a theme with some of these kits because they're made by the same manufacturer. So Adidas, once again, have got these lines going across the shoulders. And sometimes these templates are beautiful. I think this year, this one slightly misses the mark. But the colour scheme is better than Arsenal's. It has a near identical collar, no coloured rim at the bottom of the arm, but does have a nice little touch on the back of the collar. I think Villa's works a bit more, and so it's a slightly better version of the Arsenal kit. I'll put it at the bottom end of lovely. Bournemouth's kit this year is, of course, black and red stripes, as it per usual. But they have this lovely little gold trim in between each of the stripes, and there's not as many stripes as on other years' kits. A simple black collar with a red trim at the bottom of the arm, and a main kit sponsor that doesn't get too in your face and doesn't look out of place with the colour scheme or the kit as a whole. I'm also a fan of any kits where other sponsors are colour matched to the kit. And so I don't mind this one for Bournemouth. I'm going to put it just above Aston Villa in the lovely category. So Brentford are an interesting one because they do 2-season-long kits. So they are wearing exactly the same as last season. And so if you liked it last year, then great. If not, you're going to have to wait 2 years for a replacement. For Brentford's kit, I like the collar, and I'm not a massive fan of much else, to be honest with you. The main sponsor, it doesn't look as bad as when they first got it, and I think that's due to less stripes on the shirt. The Umbro logo looks a little bit out of place and it doesn't look fully coloured in with the rest of the kit. There's no trim at the bottom of the arms. If you see my rankings for these, you'll know that I like a little trim here and maybe something around a collar, which is why I think this Barca kit is fantastic. The gradient fade going into the bottom, it's okay, but I'm not a massive fan of this kit. And we've had it for 2 years, which is good for the fans, but not great as a spectator, so I'll put it in bang average. Brighton are next, and it's basically the same as every other Brighton kit. Blue and white stripes, we've got American Express, which I think one good thing about this kit is that they have a blocked out section for the sponsor. If that text was just plastered across the stripes, it would look significantly worse. The Nike logo having a blue outline again instead of just being white and being washed away within the stripes is really nice. I like the collar on this shirt. I also like the trim at the bottom. It's a shame that there isn't one right at the bottom of the shirt as well. However, the back, I'm not really a fan of the stripes only going a portion of the way up. I think that looks really, really weird. And also, their sleeve sponsor isn't the same as the rest of the shirt. If that was the same blue that you have for the stripes, this would be higher rated for me. But this little yellow trim down the side as well, it's okay. So I'll put Brighton into decent. And now we look at Chelsea. And I feel like this might be the most divisive kit if there are a load of comments on this video as to whether it's incredible or absolutely horrific. Some people love the sort of wavy, galaxy-esque design that they've gone for here. I am not. I don't get the red outline around the Nike logo and the badge, and the trim at the bottom of the sleeve is odd. The collar's okay, that's fine, but just the general design, I think this is awful. Their whole marketing campaign is that it's the hottest part of a flame and the burning passion of Chelsea. But to me, it just looks like someone has learnt Photoshop and has started using the smudge tool. If this was a training top, it would pass for okay. But for a kit, this is going right into the bottom rung of this ladder. And it might be the only one going there. Crystal Palace have, I guess, broken the mould over the last few years. Their kits have been relatively different, even though it's normally the theme of blue and red stripes. They haven't had the same looking kit each year, so I rate the improvisation each year, but I don't think it's gone well this year. A couple of things that I do like. The collar, until it gets to the middle, I think is nice, as is the trim at the bottom of the sleeves. Both the badge outline, the main sponsor and manufacturer and sleeve sponsor all being white and colour-coded and matching. Lovely. And I'm also a fan of the Selhurst Park bit at the top on the back. But the rest of it, it looks like the kind of shirt that you would buy on a hot holiday for £10 at a beach shop. I understand that you've got like the eagles forming the blue part, and the red too, a little less predominantly. But I just think that it looks a bit tacky, and again, maybe a training top. I feel like a lot of people will like this one because they like the out there Nigeria kits, which I don't really enjoy. They hurt my eyes. And I also don't understand this tiny little triangle here at the front. I just don't think that this is a very nice kit, sadly. So maybe they do join Chelsea in what is that. However, it's still not that bad. I think Chelsea might need their own tier. So we'll put it at the bottom of bang average. Everton have kept things relatively simple this year, but I do like a Castore kit. And as shown by Chelsea and Palace, sometimes simple is better. I think this kit would be elevated a little bit if the sleeves weren't just plain compared to the rest of the kit. Whether they kept the pattern going on the sleeves or maybe gave it a trim here could have made it a little bit better. But the Castore, the outline, the collar and stake all being that striking white on this really strong patterned blue effect. I think this is a really nice kit for Everton. I do wish that the back had something at the top. I do like that. And maybe they could have kept the pattern going over the entire kit rather than just the front. But I think in general, it's quite nice. We'll go lovely for Everton today. Fulham are another team that have got the Adidas treatment this year, and I think it actually works well for them. I feel like they would have the same problem on the long sleeve shirt that Arsenal do, and basically any Adidas team, where it would be split with a shirt sponsor and then the lines would continue down, which I don't think looks good. But I like a collar on a shirt. It makes it a little bit more sophisticated for me. So I really like what they've done here with the two little button-ups, and the black and white for the stripes works fantastically well. It's just so simplistic. The main sponsor and manufacturer all being black is good, and then having the red lines running down the side in conjunction with the colour of the sleeve sponsor is a really good touch as well. They also do have a little nice collar feature here as well. Fulham are going into lovely. Ipswich are another team with the Umbro effect on them this year, and I just think there's a couple of problems here. The little pinstripes are fine, they look good, but once again, a bit like Everton, you don't have anything going on the sleeves. You do have the sleeve sponsor and all of the other sponsors all being that white colour, which is nice. A thick, sort of simplistic collar and big trim at the bottom of the sleeves is okay. The shield around the badge I like. I just don't think Umbro's logo looks that great on many kits because of the different colours that they have going on in here. If that middle diamond was also white, maybe it would look a bit better. And I think that this Ed Sheeran sponsor, it stretches a bit too far. If it was a little bit more centralised, like maybe the different symbols were in a different order instead of being across, and I know that's his branding, but I think it would look a bit better, maybe even just without the word tour as well. If it was a little bit further down, then I think I'd like it a bit more. However, they do have a collar feature on the back, and they do have stripes going down the back as well. Unlike other kits where the stripes stop at about a third of the way up the back, theirs go all the way, which I do like. So I'm going to say Ipswich have a lovely kit this year. And now we get to my club, Leicester City. I think that a lot of our kits are actually really nice, and the thing that differentiates the best ones from the worst ones is our main sponsor. This year we've got BC Game as the sponsor, which is not as nice as the King Power. That is just the prime, pristine looking sponsor for a Leicester kit. However, this one isn't that bad. At least it is colour coded with the Adidas logo, the ring around our badge, and also the Beer Saigon sleeve sponsor. Once again, we are Adidas, and I feel like we are known as blue and white, and so having the white stripes at the top rather than a completely different colour, like if they were yellow, that would look really weird. But blue and white, lovely stuff. We also do have the yellowish gold trim on the collar, but we don't have a proper trim at the bottom of the sleeves, unfortunately, this year. We do have round the sides and the bottom this intricate pattern, which is sort of what Chelsea's whole kit is like. I think it is subtle enough that it's okay. And we do have a collar detail of Foxes Never Quit, which is pretty nice as well. It's not our best kit, but it's definitely not our worst. So another one going in lovely. The next kit on the list is Liverpool, and I feel like this is close to being great. But there's maybe one thing that lets it down. I love the gold of the Liverpool and the Nike badges, respectively. And then obviously Liverpool is always going to be red with some white on it. The sleeve sponsor, the main sponsor being white with a collar with red and white is really, really nice. They also have their own collar detail on the back. But I just think if this collar actually continued instead of abruptly stopping at this top line, then it would really bring it together quite nicely. That combined with maybe a white trim little ring like this on the bottom of the sleeve with maybe buttons on the collar, I think it would be a top tier kit. I do really like it this year, but the collar just brings it down so much for me. I really dislike whatever this is at the top of this shirt. I think it kills the kit. And so unfortunately, I'm having to put it into decent because of that. Manchester City, the first of the two clubs from Manchester. I think they've smashed this kit. So we're looking at Puma here. We have a sleeve sponsor, a manufacturer, and a main Etihad sponsor that are all the same colourway. The standard City Sky Blue. And then a lovely trim round both the collar and the bottom of the sleeves with some details in there as well. Not just a darker blue. With also a little bit of side detail and trim as well. I would love for there to be a little collar detail at the top. But the collar itself, I really, really like this one. So the first team going into the top ranking, I'm putting Man City in a beauty of a kit. And we're actually going to have a slight rejig here. Crystal Palace are going down into what is that. Arsenal are going into bang average. Liverpool are going into bang average. Bournemouth and Ipswich are coming into decent. I think that's a bit of a fairer spread. Time for another Adidas kit. This time Manchester United. I think this is quite good this year. The Snapdragon main sponsor is so much better than some of the ones that they've had over maybe the last decade. Tying in the colorway with the stripes at the top, the Adidas logo, the sleeve sponsor as well. With this slight gradient to a darker red as we go down, contrasted by the sides of this kit, I really like this one. And so both Manchester clubs are going into the top tier for me this year. Adidas again for Newcastle this time with black stripes for Adidas. White stripes at the top, obviously black and white for Newcastle. Their main sponsor, the big, bold black outline with then the slight little outer edge of white makes it look a lot better than it could do. They have the same trim on the top of the collar as the Leicester kit, but instead of gold it is white, with a collar detail on the back. But once again, we have a kit where the stripes don't continue onto the back of the shirt. And so you've got just this plain white back compared to the black and white stripes at the front. And then they have this horrific sleeve sponsor, which is just terrible here. I know that sponsors want to get their proper logo on a shirt, but it would look so much better if you removed the background colour and just made this noon text and the logo white, and it would fit in seamlessly. It would look fantastic, and it would elevate this kit a couple of places. But this just looks like you've slapped anything onto the sleeve. I really dislike it. And so for that, it's going in bang average. The sleeve sponsor alone has dropped that down. Nottingham Forest. There are so many Adidas clubs in the Premier League this season. So, they've got Cayenne as their sponsor. They've got, again, standard Nottingham Forest, red and white as all of their details. Their badge, the sponsors, the sleeve sponsor, the shirts, stripes at the top. Not quite the same trim as we've seen on most of the other Adidas kits when it comes to the collar, but as we have seen on basically all of the others, no trim at the bottom of the sleeve. But they do have this sort of starry pattern as the main background, slightly darker shades of red for Forest here, and then again, like the other Adidas kits, we've got this side detail as well, which continues round the back, around the bottom, and a bit of the sleeves. And they do have a collar detail of Forest at the back there. I do wish that the sponsor didn't have Cayenne.com and it was just the name of it next to the logo. I think that would look a little bit better, but that's their branding and that's their thing. I actually really, really like the Forest kit, and it's going into the top tier for me. Southampton come in with the next Puma kit, and we have a nice little collar, a little black trim at the bottom of the sleeves. We don't really have much detailing going on at the sides, but a nice black bold outline for the sponsor is okay. The black Puma logo along with the outline of the Southampton badge going along with their standard red and white stripes. Whereas the back has this sort of intricate patterned design, which is really interesting. And they do also have their own collar detail. I don't actually know what that one means, but it just feels a bit odd that the pattern on the back is so well designed and then the front is just the standard red and white stripes. Would you not have tried to integrate the pattern into the front or stripes on the back? I don't really understand. It feels like it's a kit trying to do two things at once. And so for that reason, it's going in bang average. The Spurs kit this year then. So another Nike kit. Spurs are very simple, aren't they? Every single year their kit seems to be basically identical to the previous one. So they've got their standard like navy for the sleeves, the collar, some of these ring trims at the bottom of the sleeves, the badge and the Nike, but then your big, bold, red AIA. I think the front is okay. The side has the stripe going down that continues on with the sleeve. The back is very, very empty and basic. Just pure white, no collar detail or anything like that. I feel like this year's Spurs kit could be a bit better. It doesn't scream super clean to me, whereas some of their previous kits have. Maybe if they had a slightly different collar and the sleeves were a bit different, maybe it'd bump up a bit. But I'll put Spurs into decent this year. They could easily have gone to lovely if it was a little bit better. West Ham's kit this year is basically identical to Spurs, but instead of Nike, it's Umbro. So you've got the claret colours, of course. The badge being this kind of colour, I'm not a massive fan of. It's hard to read the text on the badge when it's this colourway. The sleeves, the collar, and the sponsors all going into that colourway, though, are okay. We see another club that have ruined their kit partially, though, with a non-colour schemed shirt sleeve sponsor. Why do clubs do this? I don't understand. Once again, this would look so much better even if you just changed the background to the claret colour. Surely that would be way better. Ideally, for me, you'd remove the background and just make these two letters the claret colour, and I think that would look significantly better. But they do have a collar detail, which is quite nice. I just don't think it's the best West Ham kit that I've seen. So it's going into decent this year. Wolves under Castore had some of the nicest kits in the league. I actually believe I gave them the highest ranking kit a couple of years ago when I first did one of these kind of videos. But what on earth has happened here this year? So we'll start off with the back. The back is fine. It's plain, but they have a collar detail. That's okay. They do have a nice trim at the bottom of the sleeves, which I like. Once again, a sleeve sponsor that just isn't quite done correctly for me. Get rid of the black background and just make the JD black text. It would look so much better. But then Sudo kind of ruined the kit this year. So not only is it at the top of each of the sleeves for some reason, but it's also on the front of the kit. But why is it not central? If you're centralizing the badge, surely you have this sponsor's logo in the middle as well? Or you put the Wolves badge back where it should be. It feels like someone made one decision and then another person disagreed with it, and instead of finding some common ground where, okay, we will end up going both central, or we'll just put them both there and maybe on an away kit we can go central. No, I like my badge centralised. I want my sponsor up here. And somehow that's what they've run with. I really, really think that it completely ruins this kit. So, I'm sorry, Wolves, but you're going down the bottom, because that is an absolute disgrace. And you just can't do that. So here are the final rankings. In the top tier, we've got Forest, Man United and Man City. Lovely kits, Leicester, Villa, Fulham and Everton. Decent, we've gone Brighton, Bournemouth, Ipswich, Spurs and West Ham. Bang average for one or two reasons on each of these kits. Newcastle, mainly due to the sleeve sponsor. Liverpool, due to the collar. Arsenal, due to the weird blue that doesn't really work. Brentford, it's the same as before. Southampton, the back and the front being completely different. And then what is that? Wolves for the pathetic non-centralisation. Palace, because it looks like a dad's bought a shirt on holiday. And Chelsea, I don't really have words for what that is. So let me know your thoughts on my rankings here. Do you agree? Do you completely disagree? And I'm really stupid for my opinions? Let me know in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye!